presentation is going to have a written piece of paper like what Sandy and what Jason provides, and that will be attached to the minutes rather than our secretary recording everything that Jason says, and that report he has is going to get attached. That's to help with the minutes.
Reduce the verbiage.
Correct.
Right. Go ahead, Jason.
So this morning the population in-house was 59, not 58. 59. 1 weekender, 9 transfers, 3 out on electronic monitoring, 19 on pretrial release, total population 91. Took in 23 inmates, 9 were repeaters, and 14 were released. Repeater offenses, 1 came in for operating after suspension, booked 5 times in 5 years. 1 for Controlled Drug Act violation ×3. Possession of explosives, booked 2 times in 2 years. 1 for protective custody, booked 3 times this year. 1 for aggravated felonious sexual assault, booked 11 times in 11 years. 1 for a warrant, booked 4 times this year. 1 for theft and breach of bail, booked 2 times in 2 years. 1 for operating after suspension, booked 2 times this year. 1 for an overnight hold, booked 17 times in 10 years. And 1 for burglary, booked 2 times in 2 years. Last Wednesday I went down to Attorney Lee's office and discussed our policy and procedure manual. They're going to request an additional 35 hours for review to make sure that all of our policies fall within constitutional standards, legal standards. The sum of that is going to be an additional $5,600. I'd like to take the money from inmate programs and move it to other fees and services to cover that additional expense. I feel that it's well worth the money to have these things reviewed. So I'd like to see if we can move that through today.
Okay. Will this complete the total review?
Yes, that will complete the total review.
And what will we get as a result of the attorney? Are we going to get a letter saying that they've reviewed the total policy and find it legal, or
yes,
whatever the terms are?
I would have that put in writing from their office. Yes, sir.
I've been looking over their feedback to you. So what you're saying then is that once you get the feedback, you will do the changes as per their suggestion, and then give it back to them? No. No?
I give it to you.
So they're not going to read to make sure that you made the suggestions that they did, that they suggested, and they were in compliance with what they think the law should be?
Correct. Once they give me back that working document, I'm going through and making all their changes, and that's what I told them. Once I get that document, I'll make all the changes, and then you'll get.
I would keep their recommendations to somewhere so that you can go back to them if we have to.
Yeah.
Got some further questions?
No.
So you want to move 5,600?
Yes, sir. From inmate programs, which I have a balance in that right now of 26,000, I believe, to move it to other fees and services.
I actually do have one other question. I also looked at the previous summary by Mr. Elise, I believe his name is, and although he didn't do the whole thing, he did some portions. Does what he said comport with what Attorney Lee said?
In his recommendations, he asked that specific certain policy that I gave him be reviewed by our counsel, which is what they're doing. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, but what he did look at, does Lee agree with what he said should be done?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, because we passed our policy that department heads have to come to the commissioners to move money from one line item to another because they are anticipated being overspent. We need to approve $5,600 from inmate programs to other fees and services. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Do I hear a motion to
So moved.
change that? Because, and we need to have a good reason for doing the transfer, because it's an important document that we definitely need to have in the nursing home, that would stand up in court
At the
should
nursing
something
home.
happen.
Jail.
I mean,
Jail.
to the jail. Should we go to court over an issue, it has to be firm and done right and properly, so I think it's a very reasonable reason for moving 5,600 out of inmate programs to fees and services, so.
Second.
You made the motion and you second it. Any further discussion on the motion?
No.
This would be the first item that we would be changing as a result of our policy. All those in support of the move, transfer, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and so voted.
With respects to the doctor's position, I learned Monday that our doctor that we have will not be coming back. The new position is just, she's got to go through orientation. So I really need to fill that position. Can I move on a contract with Bragger and Swagger?
So what I understand, the nurse practitioner is leaving,
Yes, ma'am.
and now the doctor is also leaving?
No, I don't have anybody to replace her.
And who's leaving? What did you say?
The nurse practitioner that I have currently.
That's the only one who's leaving.
Yes. So I need to have somebody fill that position, so I can have somebody come in on a weekly basis and see inmates, write prescriptions.
The contract will be for a year with a, is there a 6-month leeway here? I seem to remember something like that.
You mean the contract, the one with the medical doctor and the assistant?
Yes.
That is what you're talking about?
Yes.
How long is it good for?
Well, we can
Contract?
write the contract for a year, with the language that if things don't work out, they'd like to have a multi-year contract, but we can start off with 1 year for an evaluation.
And the cost involved?
There was a flat fee of, I want to say it was $4,000 a month I have them down to.
You said it was $50,000 a year, huh?
Yes. I have it in my budget this year to bring them in immediately to, and
Okay.
then with them, they can start working on driving that pharmaceutical cost down.
And we're going to start this, so it's going to be overlapping. We'll go over the next budget season.
Mhm.
Do you know Hannaford and Walmart, they have something at a pharmacy, you have to join a club and you get a lot of the prescription for $4?
Mhm. We have
Know
to,
that?
we use blister packs though, because we can't go to
Individual.
individual, because then it becomes dispensing medication.
So you
And
cannot have a contract with like Hannaford or Walmart?
if they do blister
With
packs,
pharmacy?
I don't believe they do.
Because it's only $4.
Right, but they sell them in pill bottles, and we get them in blister packs, so they're individually wrapped.
Additionally,
Oh.
they.
I don't know if they do that.
I
have to
don't
ask them.
believe that Hannaford or Walmart price would be necessarily those drugs that we have to use in the
Jail.
jail.
They
Well,
wouldn't.
we can look, they have a whole list, so
Yeah,
They
we
wouldn't.
can look, they have.
I know what they are and they wouldn't.
Okay. And these blister packs are all identified by inmate? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, well, what's the board's feeling on hiring these two doctors that have come in and explained to us what their cost is and that they were gonna drive down the pharmaceutical cost? Yes, Damon?
If I recall right, and I probably don't, but maybe I do,
That covers
they
everything.
were gonna come in once a month, and I thought he said they'd need someone to come in once a week.
There was two, Damon, Dr. Brager, he
Yep.
was the person that was gonna come in once a month, and he would deal with the chronically ill, deal with the diabetes and the chronic care patients. And then Dr. Schweiger was the PA who was coming in on a weekly basis to deal with the more acute issues.
Okay.
And he's not a doctor.
He's not a doctor.
He's a
He's an
PA.
assistant, huh?
Physician's assistant, so.
But I think that, isn't it doctor, and it just, no?
No.
Okay,
No,
so it's a
an
PA.
assistant.
Just a PA.
Okay.
And so if we decide today that we'll contract with these two gentlemen,
Mhm.
was there not an out of 6 months?
We could build it into the contract if you like.
I think we should do that.
Yes,
So,
sir.
is this hiring one person or two people?
Two
I
people.
thought it was one person. The doctor was already here, and we were just
No.
hiring a physician's assistant.
No, this is
They're
a
coming with two.
kind of a team between the two.
So the doctor's not here yet, as of yet either?
No, he is coming once a month,
Yeah.
and his assistant is coming.
The
Once
answer
a
to your
week.
question
Once a
is
week.
no.
The doctor it hasn't been coming once a month
Not
to
this
this
gentleman.
day?
No,
Not
this is a
gentleman.
new thing.
Okay. All right.
All right, what's the pleasure of the board then?
I
Your motion?
I would move to contract with Dr. Bragger and PA Schweiger for a year's contract with a 6-month provision for both people.
Okay.
Second motion.
So the 6-month provision is, if it is not okay, we can opt out in 6 months.
Mhm.
Yes.
Any further discussion?
And so the 6 months going to be $25,000 then, because
Well,
it's
you'd-
$50,000 a year.
You'd pay,
So
you pay
if
on a
we opt
monthly.
out after 6 months, they're getting $25,000.
We pay on a monthly basis though, so,
What
Yeah.
is the monthly basis fee again?
$4,000
A
a
little over
month.
4,000.
Yeah.
A little bit over 4, or is it around?
It's 50,000,
4,000?
so it's 4,000 a month, roughly, a little over 4,000. Any further discussion? If not, all those in support of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
I oppose.
Okay. Motion passes, 2 to 1. They will start when?
I will get the contract and I'll have it presented for you next week so you can
Okay.
sign, because I can't enter
Okay.
contract agreements. On Saturday, we needed to send an inmate out to the hospital for a medical emergency. Inmate was treated and released back to the facility. Yesterday, we took in an inmate on a self-report for a sentence. He ended up showing up highly intoxicated, so we had to ship him over to the hospital for medical clearance. I took in one inmate from an out-of-county on a transfer, and at the request of a sending county, they took one of theirs back. So we just had some back-to-back movement. And then I had to send somebody out last Friday. And then I'd like to go into non-public at the end for talk about some security-related matters.
Okay.
I have a question. With this intoxicated individual who came in self-reporting,
Mm-hmm.
had we had this contract enforced at that time, would that have kept us from having to go to bring this guy to the hospital?
I don't think so, yeah. It was a more of an acute issue that we had to deal with.
Just,
Yeah.
just a question.
But the court that sentenced him has been notified of his, he showed up late and was intoxicated, so the court has been notified.
Built up to get to jail.
Okay, anything else?
Oh, in
No,
the
sir.
beginning you said you take in 23 inmates, is that what you said?
Took in 23 last week, yes ma'am.
So in 1 week?
Yes.
So we
And
have a
released-
total now of 61?
Grand total of 91. I have 58
Oh.
in-house.
Okay.
Okay, do you have anything else?
No, sir.
Anybody? Yes, Damon?
I was going to ask about, were you here when March Webster was here?
Was I here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Does that ring any bells, what she said?
Regarding morale and the commissioners, or?
Yeah.
I don't think I'd want to make a public statement on that right now, Damon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else got any further